Yo, so today we're going to be checking out George Floyd leaked video that left the Officer Tatum. If I say his name right, I apologize, you know what I'm saying? But it's leaked video. I have found the Officer Tatum and Candace Owens all because of the George Floyd situation that was going on. You know, that was being covered through every news channel, podcast, YouTube. It was everywhere. And there were people that had other big channels too that were against them. And I was like, seeing that, like how they were bashing them, making them seem like they were sellouts. And then when you really get to know the Officer Tatum and Candace Owens, you realize that they were really for the black people. But for some reason, other black people like to sway the narrative. What I really recognized was it was all about left and right, Democrats and Republicans. Because everything Candace Owens and the Officer Tatum been saying is the truth. It's just the tough love type of truth that black people don't like to hear. And that's why I ended up kept on following them. I've been following the Officer Tatum for a little over a year and a half. So that was right after George Floyd things happened. So it's like almost 2 years around that. Close to the that was like the end of 2020 summer, around that. So yeah, it's about 2 years around that. So we're gonna waste some time, hop right into this video. Let's get it.
Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you're still subscribed to my channel. Hit the join button so you can join the Tatum squad. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. So I watched the full leaked George Floyd body-worn camera video of the incident leading up to his you-know-what. Now, I have mixed emotions about this. I'm not gonna lie, man. I have mixed emotions. I can see it from his perspective and I can see it from the police perspective. Let me start with his perspective. Now, I think that it is reprehensible for people to be using drugs. Clearly, the autopsy showed that he was on methamphetamine and fentanyl at lethal dosages. That's exactly why he was acting the way he was acting. But I do understand, because I have family members that are on drugs, currently on drugs, was on drugs, died from drugs. My stepfather died from a heroin overdose. So I understand what it's like to be around somebody, or what it is like for people to be addicted to a substance. And I believe that there is a level of compassion that could be had that can lead to a better outcome and a better situation. Not saying the officers were right or wrong in this situation, but I can see that George Floyd is definitely struggling from some type of ingestment, or he has ingested a lethal dosage of a drug that's causing him to be radical, causing him to be crazy, emotional, and unstable. Now, that's his perspective. Now, the police perspective. I mean, what do you expect them to do? They get to a gentleman who they don't know, who they have no reason to know, that has just committed a crime in a convenience store or in a place of business. He's outside. He's not complying at the beginning of the video. He's not complying. At one point, he didn't even show his hands. The officer had to pull his gun out to threaten him to display his hands. Now, he's what we call passive aggressive. That means that he's not overtly doing any action that's aggressive to the police officer, like punching them, hitting them, or whatever, but he's passively not following directions. That is some of the most dangerous situations you can put yourself in or be in as a police officer. When somebody's passively not complying, then they end up getting a weapon and then you hurt. So they gave him commands. I think I'm totally cool with that, 100%. I never cursed on duty, so I don't really think that it's necessary to curse at people. But if that's the way you conduct yourself, that's the way you conduct yourself. It's not against the law. Now, I think that the officers did what they're supposed to do. He was resisting arrest at the door when he was parked on the side of the road, and you'll see the full video. It's on Tatum Report. You can go watch the full video. Obviously, I can't play it here, but you can see he was resisting arrest. He wasn't complying. He was incoherent. He gets out of the car. He's still incoherent. He's not.
I gotta go check that out. But I seen pretty much all the George Floyd videos. So probably one of those videos I already saw already. But let's notice, my boy was a real Trump supporter, right? He supported Trump, and I think that's why other black podcasters and you know, the ones that are into the politics and all that were against Officer Tatum because of his political beliefs and, you know, all that type of stuff. My boy got the Donald Trump with the tattoos and the big dollar sign gold chain, Trump hat. Yeah, he was full-blown supporting Trump. And when you realize the way they make Trump look seem like such a bad guy, when it got done to all of that, and we fell for it. That's what I understand about the people. We fell for that. I want to say we could. I didn't vote for Biden. That they fell for that. And then as soon as Biden got into office, what did he do? he cleared out everything that Trump was doing, and he went back on all his words that what Biden said he was going to do. I had to start to get off a topic, but when I saw the Trump shirt, that just took me back to that moment. But let's get it going.
Not following directions. He's up and down, emotionally here, emotionally there. He gets to the patrol car. He's resisting arrest. He don't want to get in the car. He's not making a statement and then moving with it. He's inconsistently back and forth. I don't want to get in the car. I'm claustrophobic. Well, I'm cool. Well, you was totally fine in the driver's seat of that other vehicle. Now you want to get in the back of a police car. Now somehow you're claustrophobic. You've been arrested several times before. So he's having these emotional drama that the police officers are observing. He's not complying. He's not seeming to want to ever get in the car. If they just let it go, he'll never get in the car. Nope. Some people may think that he would never get in the car. He will make an excuse all the way to the end. Now, when he was in the car, they put him in the car. He kicks himself out of the car. Tell them, I want to lay on the ground. That's information that nobody's talking about. He pretty much told the police officer that he would rather lay on the ground. So they laid him on the ground, not against his will, not malicious force, but they did what he felt he wanted to do because he was so non-compliant in the vehicle. Now,
that's what I was wondering. Wow, you see, I never really knew all of that. That's why I was wondering, why did they put him in the police car in the backseat and took him out? So he was kicking the door. He wanted to come out. Damn, after all this, I didn't even know that. I thought that this was being some a-holes and they put him in, and I guess he was acting up in the car and they took him out and put him on the floor. That's what I had thought. I didn't know. Wow. Damn, I gotta look up that full documentary, man. I get all the details, man. I kind of fell off with all of that. Since we really got so much stuff going on, Ukraine, they got this going on, that. It's all distractions. I think this whole George Floyd situation was a big distraction because this came right after COVID-19. You've seen the panic that COVID-19 caused. Then you had this on top of that. It was a recipe for disaster. I don't know if that. And then they blew it out of proportion, made it look like it was so racist, and then that picture of the cop kneeling on him, I got upset. I'm gonna be honest. I did get upset because it did rob me the wrong way. They had it everywhere. So I can imagine how I was feeling. Imagine how other people was feeling that more deeply and passionate about stuff like that. How they really feeling. So I think they kind of blew up a portion. I don't know why, and ever since that happened and the protests and the riots, it's been like a never-ending cycle. Because you see what's going on, smash and grab, lootings. You see what's going on.
Now, obviously they called the paramedics to come and see him because they knew he was high on something. Erratic behavior is very consistent with the way he was acting. Now, that's the synopsis of the entire video. But let me add something to the very end of this, which is a result of George Floyd dying, that I think people aren't talking about it. I spoke about it in my first video. Let's talk about the excited delirium phenomenon. Now, one of the officers, who was a rookie. Matter of fact, 2 officers were rookies, and then there were 2 officers that were on the department longer than rookie status. Officer Chauvin, who was the main police officer involved in this, was on for several years, over a decade. So he has a lot of experience. He was the lead police officer. I think he was even the FTO of one of the young police officers. So while he was on the ground, having these experiences, when they called medical assistance, the younger officer alluded to, according to his lawyer, that George Floyd needed to be rolled to his side because he could be experiencing excited delirium. Now, if those of you who don't know what excited delirium is, it's pretty much when you get on a drug that's an upper, like methamphetamine, like fentanyl, and it gets your heart rate up, you get very aggravated, you get superhuman strength, and then you begin to crash, kind of like a sugar crash. You begin to crash all the way to the point that you die. You never stop crashing. You go into cardiac arrest. It's called excited delirium. They teach us in the academy way back in 2010. I'm sure they've been teaching it all over the country. That was a indication that George Floyd could have been experiencing excited delirium, which had nothing to do with the knee. I'm not saying that that's the cause of it. We'll find that in court. But what I'm saying is that it possibly had nothing to do with the knee. It had everything to do with the drugs he ingested, which caused him to crash and burn, pretty much. And I'm not trying to be offensive, but that's kind of the term that we use. So those things are important to note on top of the video that you saw, on top of the response that the police had. And people don't know this, but I think it's invaluable to talk about this. One of the officers did conduct CPR on George Floyd while he was in the back of the ambulance, waiting for them to hook up all the vital cords or whatever they had to do to treat him. he was giving them chest compressions and CPR. So the myth that nobody helped him, the myth that everybody should go to prison is just a myth. All the other officers, in my personal opinion, should not be held accountable for the knee and Officer Chauvin. Now, Officer Chauvin is in a pickle because what he did visibly did not look appropriate. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. What he did by putting his knee on them, it robbed me the wrong way. It didn't make it look any better. And then the cops that's blocking everybody from intervening and telling them, at least the other cop could have been like, hey, you want to get off his neck for a second? He looked like he can't breathe. He didn't even look back. He didn't even attempt. He would just block and make sure nobody is there. And other cops, I think they were like the side of the van or something like that. But it looked like they was allowing the cop to take his life. That's what it's slowly take his life. That's what it looked like. So that's I could imagine the anger. Like why nobody ain't doing nothing? Why the cops? I was angry. So I could understand. I could understand what people felt. But did it worth all the looting and damaged properties? No, it didn't. It didn't worth all of that.
As a former police officer, and I taught new officers how to become officers. I was the FTO as well. It does not seem to be appropriate. When you got your knee on the man's neck, no matter how much pressure you putting on him, you gotta, at some point, you kind of gotta play to the camera. I don't know. I don't understand how police officers don't understand this. You gotta play to the camera to a certain degree. You gotta communicate with them like, hey man, look, I took my knee off for you, but you started acting up. I'm putting my knee back on you because you're not. Okay, I'll get off. If you start moving, I'm gonna go back on. Play that game, even though you know it's bullcrap. Play the game. So on Monday morning, when people begin to evaluate you, at least it looks like you were attempting to work with it. Instead of looking like you're just kneeling him to death. Now, what I will say is that he's in a dilemma because he could be charged and he could not be charged. And people aren't ready to entertain that. If excited delirium type scenario occurred, he died from heavy doses of fentanyl and methamphetamines, it's going to have nothing to do with Officer Chauvin's actions. Then he's not going to get charged. If they decide that Officer Chauvin's actions exacerbated excited delirium or exacerbated, he had a reason to know that it was causing the death of George Floyd, then he's going to be in trouble. But I think this video was very revealing. It showed a lot of context to what was going on. People like myself, Candace Owens, and others were already telling people that he had resisted, that it wasn't just an innocent black man doing nothing, crying for his mama. It was a lot of other stuff involved. Now, he was high on drugs, but they also had no reason to baby him and put a pacifier in his mouth and rub his back while he go to jail. So I hope this video will give you some context. TatumReport.com will have the full video. You can watch this. It's like 8 minutes long. You can go on there. The link is in the description section. But I can talk about this for another hour, but I want you to watch the rest of my videos. Go in the comment section and comment. Let me know what you thought about the video. Are you conflicted? Is this cut and dry? Did this open your eyes to something? Did this verify something for you, or did it do nothing? Let me know in the comment section. Like and subscribe to the channel. Visit the Officer Tatum store where you get all the cool merch. Y'all know what it is. See you on the next one. I'm out.
Yeah, I've been following homie for a while now. But yeah, he pretty much, wow. It's like you even got to see the video, the way he painted the picture. You could see like so clearly. But it's just like you said, the way he was just kneeling on him, it didn't make it any better. Or even though, you know, he was a criminal and they were there for, you know, the counterfeit money or something like that, him kneeling on him didn't make it any better. And then when you hear him saying his mama and the way he's begging to breed, it didn't help none of it. So the anger and radio that nobody did nothing. At that time, I didn't know about the drugs and I didn't know about none of that. I just looked at he was just a human being on the floor, ground getting treated like that. And then he was a black man. That's what eat me the most. I didn't know. Listen, we don't have, there's so much that we could be doing after we saw what happened with George Floyd, but no. There's still lootings, there's still smash and grabs, there's still all this. And all of this started happening right after George Floyd's situation and COVID-19 both together. All this that happened right after that. Is that a picture we wanted to paint of us? Well, I know, but you know what I mean, of all people. Oh, because the George Floyd situation, and it was looting, it was smash and this, and it was grab, and now we're in 2022 and they're still doing smash and grabs? Breaking into stores and taking jewelry, taking whatever? So we just wanted an excuse to do the bullshit that people normally accuse of us of doing. And BLM didn't make it any better. BLM made it worse. They were only there because it was a white cop and a black man. with all the black and black crimes that been going on. BLM is nowhere to be found. They got their millions, and they made a lot of money in 2020. Millions of dollars off of George Floyd's name. And I'm not too sure. You guys let me know in the comments. From what I had read and I heard, George Floyd family never got anything from BLM. They didn't get no money from BLM. And then they had a statue of George Floyd. Like, really? All because he died by the hands of a police officer kneeling on his neck. Yes, it's sad how it happened. But he was a grown man, right? He didn't deserve to die like that. He deserved to go to court and see his day due in court. But these little kids that get shot by random bullets, but the gang violence, where their statues at? They were little kids, being little kids, sleeping in their beds. Mom just put them in their bed to go to sleep. Shot comes through the house. Kid is shot. BLM nowhere to be found. But we give George Floyd a statue. Really? A man that been to jail not just once, twice, multiple times. A man that had a gun to a pregnant woman's belly. The man had a criminal history. These little kids, these are innocent little kids that have nothing to do with nothing. And they don't get nothing. They don't even get a protest for their lives. They don't, nothing. They don't get a protest from this activist saying, stop the gang violence. Nothing. But George Floyd gets all of this. Where's the outrage to the little kids dying? No outrage. This is what I'm saying. We only got the energy when it's black on white. But we ain't got the energy for when it's black on black. Make that make sense, man. Hey, give me you guys' take on the video. Give me the guys' take on the George Floyd situation. And until now, I'll catch you guys next video, man. Peace out. You guys have a blessed day.